Please go ahead, Bija.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I start my talk by sharing the screen with a presentation. Our topic for today, unfold magic, strengthen the immune system with yoga and pranayama. So we define health according to the World Health Organization as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So if I'm not in on any medication and have all my reports normal, depressed and low if I feel when I wake up in the morning, I'm not healthy. Here they define it as a physical and mental fitness. Yoga is an ideal form of exercise, mind and body, that offers a full range of fitness benefits. Yoga, by way of postures, asanas, cleanses every muscle, joint, organ, and all parts of the body. The skin, the eyes are external reflections of internal good health. And that's the reason why we make impressions and invite comments from friends and family when they look at our skin or our hair or our eyes. Yoga, by gently stretching muscles and joints, ensures optimum blood supply, helping the body flush out toxins from every nook and cranny and replenishes it with nourishment. Hence, just what we want, delays the aging process. It also gives us a well sculpted body, perfect mind control, peace with oneself, the world, and nature. Stretching strengthens the different tendons and ligaments of the body. So, when we have symptoms like stiffness of the spine, physical or mental fatigue, exhaustion, blood pressure, giddiness, gastrointestinal problems, genitourinary problems, prostate, pituitary and thyroid disorders, and so on, we address each one of them by these stretches or twists to revert those conditions. Weekend before last, we had a little workshop where we performed, this is me performing a few asanas, explaining indications why we should be doing them and benefits having done them. Here's another one in the terrace of one of our students, doing a downward dog, a mountain pose, a trikonasana, the triangular pose. Again, correcting it so that we know what is right by way of asanas to get full benefits. And now is the new normal, COVID-19 and yoga. There are 84 lakh yogic postures to work on every muscle, nerve, tendon, ligaments. A lot of them are just about blindly copying the animals and the birds, or also children. In today's time of stress, and to that add the pandemic, it's the breathing rhythm that goes into a turmoil completely. And hence, we now have the virtual classes. These are my daily classes in the morning for pranayam, where all the students log in and do virtually their comments, testimonials, so that by proper practice of pranayam, diseases are overcome, as they say in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, but must be done under supervision, because on the other hand, if it's an improper practice, it gives rise to certain diseases. There is one beautiful Kriya called Kapalbhati, which was introduced by Ramdev Baba, an excellent one, not a pranayam, but great for healing. Besides that, there are several other pranayams like the bellows breath, Bhastrika, which has a lot of benefits to stabilize the nervous system, to burn toxins, to remove diseases, balance doshas, etc. And many more, like the Ujjayi Pranayam, the throat breath, Gala Swasan, to reverse insecurities associated with relationships and finances, oxygenate the blood, expand our chest to use it to full capacity, and so on. There is also a beautiful balancing pranayam, because pranayams, that is breath control, has mainly 5 categories: the energizing and vitalizing ones, to the stabilizing and balancing ones, to the tranquilizing ones, each one having their own benefits, and also for acidity, gas, flatulence, indigestion, constipation. There is the Brahmari pranayam, which is the cooling pranayam, calms the mind, soothes the nerves. Also, a Shitali pranayam, another cooling pranayam. And here is another new normal: COVID patients practicing exactly that pranayam. The cooling one for acidity and acid refluxes, having its own benefits. Pranayam needs to be done under supervision to move from the gross to the sukshma, the subtle, to eventually get into tasmin sati shwas varshwasar gati vicheda pranayam, which means by the regulation and the control of prana, we come to a point where we are almost into meditation, where we do not realize the difference between an inhalation and an exhalation. It was about 2600 years back that the Yoga Sutras were given to us by Patanjali, Maharshi Patanjali ji, where he again explained to us the discipline of yoga, Atha Yoga Anushasanam, Yogascha Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Tada Drashtau Swarupe Avasthanam. Here and now, I'm once again explaining to you the discipline of yoga, he said, he wrote. It's only about the control of the mind field through the 5 senses and the mind, so that with the practice of pranayama and yoga, we can overcome and get relief from common ailments. It helps us overcome depression, mood swings, anxiety, and brings us into tranquility. I stress a lot on pranayam today because it is the best gift we can give ourselves, especially after having done asanas. Atha asane dridavashi yogi hitamitasanam, guru upadesha margenam pranayam asana bhayaseta. Having established ourselves in any steady posture, along with control and benefiting of a balanced diet, we should be doing pranayam. We don't make it like a big deal or rocket science. It's simple for each one of us. I call it always a no excuse yoga. Sit on a bed, sit on a stool, lie down. You don't have to necessarily be into a lotus pose or something if you have knee problems. And with that, we support our balance our 3 humors, the Vat, Pit, and Kapha, so that we eventually come to a body balance, having benefited with a proper yogic diet. A lot of benefits with yoga. But the most important when anyone calls me up is, I'm very unfit. How will I be able to do yoga? We don't have to be physically fit or spiritually inclined to experience these benefits. In fact, it's because we are unfit that we are going to do it. It has another very good benefit, which is, often we say that there is an impending disease that we may be getting. And it gives us this far reaching benefit of an uncanny awareness of an impending health disorder or infection that may come up. It gives us preemptive corrective action, because yoga postures are designed to work on our body, our muscle, our flexibility, to restore us with vibrant awareness. And I then talk finally about meditation. This word meditation is a lot more of a show off sometimes than actually understanding its meaning. I'm doing my meditation, I go to my meditation classes. Very simple. Even if I'm cooking, dwelling upon with awareness on that stir fry when I'm making it for my children, or going to my pottery class, or even if my husband is singing, I see that I'm dwelling upon with wisdom and awareness, and also call that meditation. The moment the mind is off from scattered thoughts and patterns, with the cessation of the thought process from fears, worries, stresses, and anxieties, we come into a state of consciousness where the mind is free, and that brings about meditation, just harmonizing it with the body to result in quantum benefits. And hence, it is not a secret that the will of the mind has enabled people to achieve extraordinary feats, an achievement of a coordinated mind and body through meditation. As many postures in yoga as yonis, Choryasi lakh yonis, 84 lakhs, each one addressed to address our problems from rigidity to flexibility. Yoga consisting of asanas, pranayams, mudras, bands, that's locks and harnesses, to give us our intended outcome, whether it is a well sculpted body, a perfect mind control, peace with oneself and world at large. As we climb the 8 steps of Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, that is mainly about the society and who we are with at large, by way of Satya, Aparigraha, Ahimsa, Niyam, those which are about our inwardly obeyances like Santosh, Sauchya, Swadhyay, and finally surrender, Ishwar Pranidhan. If we are not able to do it on our own, we leave it on the divine to help us. Asana, that is steady postures. Pranayam comes exactly midway between the two. Pratyahar, sense withdrawal. Dharana, finally concentrating. Dhyan, meditating to get that permanent, ultimate bliss. Yoga, pranayam, meditation are the best gifts we can give ourselves, and hence it is today a world culture. And here is a small little slide about yoga from my website to end it. These are some of the talks given in Rotary clubs, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, when Modi ji sent me. That's where I was doing my teachers training, teaching the teachers there in Zurich and Singapore. Bollywood yoga, making it fun, addressing each and every query, ailment, problem, health related, mind related, and so on. Some testimonials. All I always say is make it happen, see magic unfold. I'm more interested always that each one of us gets the intended outcome from yoga rather than worry about I'm doing so many things but I'm still not cured. It's because of that we lean back on yoga. With that, I end my today's talk and welcome questions. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bijal. I was hoping on maybe a 5-minute session. Could we do that?
Sure, sure. What would you like to do? Pranaya or meditation? What would they all like?
Pranayama.
Pranayam will be good.
Pranayam? Okay.
Yeah.
Popular word is pranayam.
Okay. Can you all see me and hear me? Would you like to spotlight me, please? Whoever is handling the host, can you spotlight me?
Yeah, you're spotlighted.
Super. As we said, come. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can hear you.
As we all sit comfortably in a seated posture, either in the lotus pose, which is Padmasana for those of us who know that, or just any comfortable seated posture, either cross-legged or with the legs down if you're on a chair or a sofa or a stool. We gently close our eyes, make an attempt to pull the spine upright, roll the shoulders back, to slowly withdraw our minds to look at that vast infinite space in front of our closed eyes. They call this vast infinite space Chidakash. As we look at maybe black, white, colors, shadowy movements, lights, anything here. And as drashtas, that is seers or seekers, from this vastness, we taper our awareness to the vastness of the chest, the entire rib cage, visualizing our heart embedded in it. Hridayakash, the Akash being the entire space around, the Hriday being our heart. Keeping intensified awareness here on the Hriday. We inhale and exhale actively, filling and emptying our lungs. There are no known contraindications for what we are just doing, which is Bhastrika, the bellows breath. We fill our lungs with oxygenated air and empty them with deoxygenated air. Bhastrika improves oxygenation of the blood and tissues, functions of our organs and systems, builds up our immune system, especially in the current pandemic, balances the autonomous nervous system, eventually calming our mind and nerves to reduce stress and strain. Slow it down and discontinue the practice to give yourself just a few seconds to acknowledge the benefits of what you just did. And now open the mouth wide, inhaling and exhaling fully, making a sound when the inhaled and exhaled air rubs into the glottis and epiglottis till the trachea. This is for those who are beginners to what we are doing, Ujjayi Pranayam, the throat breath. Notice where inhaled and exhaled air is rubbing, and then close your mouth half. And then close it completely. Hear that sound, Ujjay, coming from the word Ujjapi, which means triumphant. Ujjapi, on top, victorious. It is called Gala Swasan. Gala is neck, throat. Swasan means breath, throat breath. Inhale, dragging air in from the throat. Exhale, throw out air from the throat, hearing your sound. Need not be very aggressive. Just fill and empty your lungs to get the same benefits and more by oxygenating the blood and tissues, reversing fears associated with finances and relationships, beautifying the voice, balancing the secretions of the thyroid glands so that they don't turn into hypo or hyper, soothing the nervous system, expanding the chest, increasing the vital capacity of the lungs, and emptying them completely with the Gala Swasan exhalations to address problems of chronic coughs, colds, allergies, asthma, conditions of the nose, throat, and chest. Also, to reverse mental fatigue. Soften this, slow it down, make it a little more quieter and silent. To finish off with the third, that is the last variation of pranayam, which falls under the stabilizing pranayam category out of the 5 categories. Just do alternate nostril breathing. For those who know what is Nasagraha Mudra, fold the index finger and the middle finger so that the tips touch the thumb roots. And just close the right nostril, inhale from the left. Fill your lungs. Close the left with the ring fingertip. Exhale from the right. Empty your lungs. Inhale from the right. Exhale from the left. 4 more rounds. Very simple. Don't make it complicated. There may be a few impediments sometimes, like a blocked nostril, but no rocket science. Just touch and let it go into a depression. Very gentle touch. For respiratory disorders like asthma, bronchitis, respiratory tract infections, chronic coughs, colds, stress-related disorders like vasomotor rhinitis, peptic ulcers, diabetes, colitis, physical or mental fatigue. Simple, uncomplicated, alternate nostril breathing called Anulom Vilom Pranayam. Some schools call it Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. This one has absolutely no contraindications. You don't have to worry about doing Anulom Vilom Pranayam at all, whatever the condition, even with the heart, because we do it with our own capacity and it's called balance, samavritti. So you can even inhale to a count of 4, exhale to a count of 4, inhale to a count of 6, exhale to a count of 6. That simple, that uncomplicated. As soon as you finish the 5th round on your own, just bring the hand down. Do a good round of palming. Rub your palms till you feel the warmth in the palms. That warmth are urja, your own production of your own pranic energies to cap them on closed eyes. Open and close your eyes in the darkness of palming so that energies of your own manufactured prana is seeped in through the eyelids to the systems and organs. As you inhale fully, exhale completely, and bring the hands down. Notice how you feel at this time. And then slowly open your eyes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lizel.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Leela here.
Hello, Leela. I welcome any questions regarding the talk or the pranayam.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Bijal. We'll have a question and answer now.
Thank you all.
Anybody has any questions?
Vicky, there's one Deepika who's raised her hand.
Yes, Deepika, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Deepika?
Yeah, I'm Deepika here from Rotary Club of Bombay Worli.
Hi,
I just,
Deepika.
I'm Deepika. Bijal, your talk was enlightening, and you really simplified the whole asanas, and it was really like yama, niyama, everything. So I just wanted to know
Yes.
that can we practice the pranayam every day, or it should be practiced like alternate days? That is
Pranayam has to be practiced every single day.
okay.
Even
Good, good.
now, my regular classes, which we used to have at all the clubs and centers, are on Zoom from the day 22nd March onwards. There was one slide over there which I had put in for the talk.
Yes,
You
yes.
have to be doing pranayam every single day. Whenever I'm asked a question, कितने समय तक ये करना है? I always tell them till you are alive, till you're breathing, till you have your daily commitments, stresses, work, till you're eating, every day pranayam has to be done. You can find shortcuts to it. Instead of doing it for 25 or 35 minutes, do it for 7 minutes if time doesn't permit you on a particular day. But it has to be done.
I have a question. Vicky, can I ask?
Philip?
Sure,
Yes, Dr.
Anil.
Philip.
Bijal, this doing fast sometimes gives you a headache,
Yes.
eating. So is that okay or what?
Yes, so it is to experience that headache that we do it sometimes, do it fast sometimes, because there are certain things where we have to go slightly beyond our capacity to know that, okay, this is our capacity and we need to know our limitation and move forward. For example, moving in a forward bend in one of the asanas can give us a backache.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean the back is bad. It just means it is stiff. So if it's giving you a slight headache, it is only because it's giving you signals to do it more often, to slowly reach to that capacity of doing fast.
Okay.
But never push yourself. The moment you're getting, like there was a slide saying that it gives us this uncanny, lovely sensitivity that, okay, I'm aware this is my capacity, but I can move on with more regular practice.
Okay.
So every signal we are getting, whether the temples are hammering, or there is a backache, or there is a headache, or there is a frozen shoulder, it's the body is so magical. It just cries out loud saying, hey, just take care of this bit. That's it.
And one more thing, this Anilom Velom, you start
Yes.
taking the air from the left nostril first or right?
Always from the left. It is said. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika says so. So because the sages have experienced it and experienced the benefit that way, we salute that till we realize that, oh, okay, maybe right is also fine.
You take in from the left nostril first. That means from
Yes,
the finger side.
yes. And we don't make a big deal out of anything, be it a posture, be it an asana, be it a mudra, or be it a lock, harness, band, which are only four. A Jalandhar Bandh, a Mool Bandh, and an Udyan Bandh, and all four three together, that is Mahabandh. We don't make it a big deal, as if, okay, that one day will come when I will start. You keep it so simple. That's why today I made it as if it is a beginner who's doing it. There are some of my students here. There are others who are friends from Rotary. Sunil's been a member now 3.5 decades, who I know are doing yoga and pranayam since years. But the instructions were just nothing. Alternate nostril, simple, period. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Then find your own space to do your variations, incorporating Ujjayi.
Have some gaps also between them.
And we do so many variations to increase the awareness, to dwell upon with wisdom, so that we yo-yo between the pranayam and the meditation, etc. But there should be, everything should be done fearlessly.
Okay. You breathe, and there's some people say then you hold for a breath for some time, then you breathe out.
Yes, that is also a lovely variation with retention. So as we move on to Anulom Vilom Pranayam, say if we go to more sthul and then more sukshma, there is holding, there is retention. So filling is called Purak, retention with a lock is called Antar Kumbhak, which is a Jalandhar Bandha. Exhaling is called Rechak, and empty lungs lock is called Bahir Kumbhak.
Okay.
So it is again very simple. We've been doing it regularly. But the holding and the retention is only to be done by non-cardiac people, those who don't have hypertension, those who are not on medication, blood pressure, low, high, yo-yoing, stress related, etc. So it has to be done. It is clearly mentioned in that one slide which I said. You do it rightly, you benefit a lot. You do it wrongly, you can also invent a call for a problem.
Can I ask a question, Bijal?
I
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
I
yes,
have,
Dr. Rajan.
Yeah. Bijal, thank you very much. And excellent presentation.
My
Your
pleasure.
PowerPoint presentation was absolutely mind-blowing.
Thank you.
I have been practicing yoga along with my other exercises and things. I just want to bring to your notice one important thing which I observed,
Yes,
not while doing yoga.
yes,
And I know we have a lot of senior citizens here, and this is an observation about the Kapalbhati.
yes.
It's a very brief story. I will not take much time, but tell you, apparently I was attending one of my friends' routine stress thallium test.
Yes,
In that, they had to run for 10 minutes on a treadmill and
Yes.
then go to the nuclear medicine department to assess the thallium scaling, various pumping of the various ventricles and atrium and everything.
okay.
It just happened at that time. It happened to me. I asked this relative of mine, I said, you do your Kapalbhati while he was waiting to be taken onto the table, and
Okay.
his heart beatings were recorded.
Okay.
With the surprisingly and shockingly to me, when he was doing the Kapalbhati, what happens is obviously we know that the like diaphragm is pushed up and the pressure comes on the heart and everything. And I literally found this friend go into fibrillation. So just a word of caution, the heartbeat went so fast while doing Kapalbhati, and people boast to me many a time that they do 100 and they do 300 and 200 and like that.
Yes.
I think sometimes, though this patient was not, this friend was not a cardiac patient, he was going for a routine evaluation of a stress thallium.
Yes.
But by doing this at least 20 times, he almost went into fibrillation and we had to hurriedly ask him to stop it. So ever
Excellent.
since then, I have been telling all my friends, you are an expert, you are a doctor yourself in yoga, but I thought this is an observation which I made
Exactly the
scientifically.
reason why today, when there was a request to do pranayam by Vicky after the talk, we have not done Kapalbhati, right? We did Bhastrika. Because Kapalbhati does not come into the category of pranayam, first of all. Secondly, when it is a Shodhan Kriya, which is a cleanser means removing of acidity, acid refluxes, and removing of all the negative in the systems and organs by way of Vata, Vayu, all right? Kapalbhati is not supposed to be started suddenly and abruptly with figures like 108 or 251 or 301. We start Kapalbhati with alternate nostril exhalations with 11. So every class, for example, today morning 7:30 a.m. pranayam class, there was a new student who was given separate instructions from old students who are doing it since 16 years. All you have to experience in Kapalbhati is exhale, 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 alternate nostrils, pulling the abdomen in. Having done that for a few days or weeks or months, you bring the hand down and do a normal Kapalbhati. Kapalbhati is not even supposed to be discussed in yoga talks and presentations. Actually, that's why my slide said, is Kapalbhati a pranayam? It's amazingly healing. It has reversed a lot of health problems, but it has to be done very slowly, carefully, not overdone. The main benefit of Kapalbhati is that it increases one's lifespan. इंसान का आयुष्य बढ़ता है. In yoga, it is said that lifespan, your ayushya is predetermined by the number of breaths you are going to take, not by the number of years you're going to live. And hence, fast breathers and hot-blooded, like dogs and pigeons, live between 5 and 11 years as against slow breathers and cool-blooded, like tortoises, mammals, etc. We as humans have a choice. Anytime you do Kapalbhati after an erratic breath because it went out of gear due to certain emotions, you will notice that eventually your breath has come into steadiness. Fast or slow is not so important. Steady is important. It should not be erratic. So Kapalbhati has a lot of benefits. Who doesn't want to live long? And who's going to sign a stamp paper and tell me that tomorrow I'm going to wake up alive? So everyone wants to do Kapalbhati because everyone wants a long Ayushya and a healthy one. It's got a lot of benefits, but it has to be done under supervision. Can't overdo.
Bijal,
Thank you
have a
so much and
question.
for explaining that.
1 second.
This was just an observation that I just wanted to share. But it was beautifully explained and simplified. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Doctors recommend not to do Kapalbhati.
Start with alternate nostrils, slowly, slowly. Active
Heart
exhale,
patients,
exhale,
heart
exhale, exhale, exhale,
Okay.
exhale. That's it.
Okay.
Or blood pressure and heart patients.
Yeah. They can also do slowly. Aram se.
Bijal, I have one question.
Bolo Geeta.
Like I do every day since years Kapalbhati, and I do 40, 50 each time. That's okay?
So no dietitian can decide what you should eat, and no yoga therapist can tell you how much you should do.
Okay, you can do more also.
There is this amazing mantra which I have heard from, of Srimad Rajchandra, Sahaj Atma Swarup Param Guru. And I incorporate the same one in yoga also, that we and our own pure higher divine self are our own gurus. Neither Ramdev Baba nor Bijal can tell Gita. Yesterday you may have had a stressful day. Day before you may have slept well. Or you may have had pizza yesterday but have had a beautiful raw diet. You may not have followed a biological clock when eating. Your mind could be running like an intoxicated monkey bitten by a scorpion this morning, but tomorrow you are peaceful.
Okay.
So it may give a headache to Mr. Anil, but it may not give a headache to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if there are 70 people who are doing, students who are doing pranayam in one class, each one finds his threshold. Nobody is overdoing it to a point where it will harm them and underdoing it to a point where they are not getting the intended outcome and the benefit of investing in that much time in doing the pranayam.
Okay. Thank you, Bijal. Thanks.
Bijal, I have a question.
Yes, Rohit.
We have a question. What is the advantage of Brahmari?
1 minute. Who is this?
Rohit.
Rohit. Hi. Brahmari is a very, very beautiful pranayam. It is done in 3 ways. One is by plugging the ears close after a full inhalation and making a humming sound exhalation. This is for the benefit of those who don't know what is Brahmari. Second is inhaling fully, just letting the eyelids close and making a humming sound exhaling, plugging the ears closed again. And the third variation is with Shanmukhi Mudra, where you inhale fully, fill your lungs, touch upon your 5 senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing. Inhale fully, plug your ears closed. You hum exhaling till you empty your lungs, okay? So for the benefit of those who don't know what Rohit Bhai is saying, Brahmari, that is Brahmari. What does Brahmari do? 3 main benefits of Brahmari. 1, any problem with sleep, be it insomnia, sleep disorders, sleeping all night but waking up feeling groggy, heavy dreams, etc. 21 days of regular Brahmari. In the mornings, you don't have to do just before sleeping. And you will notice amazing benefits. 2, panic attacks, depression, low feeling, anxiety. Do Brahmari for 21 days. Just about 7 minutes. And watch the result. Complete flip. Third benefit, tinnitus, ringing in the ears. Most of the ENT doctors will say we can't reverse it. 21 days of Brahmari and you will notice a difference. These are the 3 main benefits of Brahmari.
It has to be done 7 minutes.
7 minutes will give you results. 21 days, 7 minutes will give you results. Inhale fully, plug your ears closed, make a humming sound exhaling till you feel vibrations in the frontal part of the face.
Is this pose correct?
No, this is not a Shanmukhi Mudra. Shanmukhi Mudra means touch your eyelids, sight, smell, lips because taste, touch around the chin and ears. Inhale fully, plug your ears closed and go. 7 minutes.
Okay.
So you'll do about 12 of them in that because generally each Brahmari takes half a minute.
Okay. Thank you.
These are the three main benefits. Brahmari has many other benefits. It comes under the tranquilizing pranayam category. There are 5 categories. But I'm making it simple and I always do.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Bijal.
Hi, Neeta.
How are you? It was a great session. We enjoyed it.
Thank you, Neeta. Thank you so much. Brahmari is very beautiful. Thank you for bringing it up.
Thank you, Bijal.
Calming the mind, soothing the nerves, reducing blood pressure, pacifying the blood flow. Brahmari for nervousness, anxiety, panic attack. Very good pranayam. But don't do anything, with force. Everything has to be gentle. Don't be harsh on yourself. You can't make up for lost time by being aggressive. Go slow, आराम से. No guilt when you are doing anything. अरे इतने सालों से नहीं किया, suddenly rotary में सुना तो चलो कल से करते हैं. No problem. आराम से 5 minutes, 7 minutes. जो जितना भी time मिले. Knee problem. You've been through kneecap surgery. I'm doing it for all the knee surgery doctors for their patients. The post-surgery workshops and everything. Dr. Nilen, everybody. Nothing is a limitation. The fact that we are alive, we are breathing, we could log in just now, have our 5 senses and the mind intact, is all we need as a requirement to do it.
Bijal, one question.
Members,
Bijal, there's one question. If you have a knee problem or something, you can do Surya Namaskar.
You have to avoid 2 postures of Surya Namaskar.
Yeah,
Instead of 12, you have to do 10.
Okay.
Okay? And you know,
I think that bending should be
correct, the Chandra Namaskar one.
Yeah,
Because you don't want to, we never do anything harsh or regimental.
Okay.
No.
So,
Yes.
Bijal, can I ask you?
Knee is called, the asan which is related to knee is called Janu Shirasan. They call knee the Janu. That's what I call my husband, Janu, the loved one. Okay, I call Sunil Janu. So knee is something you have to take a lot of care of. You can handle a frozen shoulder with massages, with rubbings, with Ayurveda, but knee, you have to be careful. Yeah, you have to avoid those 2 postures.
Bijal, thank you so much. It was a fantastic.
Thank
Anybody
you,
else?
Guruji. Thank you, all of you.
hello.
Please feel free to message me, to email on Sunil's mail, any query, any question, anything. You all are welcome to do free sessions, pranayam, yoga, anything in my regular sessions. You can try free sessions 3 times. Please feel free to make me instrumental in addressing any health query that any of you have.
I'm going to ask you those queries, but I want to come and join
Sure.
a regular class.
Sure.
Where does one join your
There
class?
is Leela over here. There is Rohini. There are 2-3 members also who are always doing regularly. Please do it regularly. Yes, there is Bharti.
But will you tell us how to join your class? When is the class and where is it?
The classes are all, can I message it to Vicky or can
Sure.
you? The classes
Message
are